Hi, I am Dr. Amol Kumar Patil. I am a robotic urologist and kidney transplant surgeon at Apollo Hospital, Navi Mumbai. Since 4 years, I'm working here. So, currently in this COVID pandemic, uh, I thought I would discuss a little bit about prostate diseases. What are the myths patients carry about the prostatic disease, like when we should do prostate surgery, when we should not do prostate surgery, is prostate size matters, what is PSA, whether rise in PSA itself is an indication of cancer. So there are certain myths which I want to clear about all these myths to the patients. So what happens normally when a patient has lower urinary tract symptoms, what we call for the prostate disease, commonly patients face and they come to the doctor, like frequency, urgency, nocturia, that getting up in the night for urination. Then they will have poor flow, poor stream, and then sense of incomplete evacuation, and they will have hesitancy to pass urine. So when these symptoms are there, commonly seen after 50 years of age, and they consult a urologist for this or a general physician for this, and he'll be advised for some tests. So normally what test will, after the examination, he'll be advised for some tests. Normally what test we advise is ultrasound, kidney, ureter, bladder and the prostate, and we ask for specifically post-void residue. Second thing is a urine flow test, and third is a prostate specific antigen. Is the blood test. Now what you see in the sonography, once the patient gets sonography, sir, prostate is 100 grams. So I'm worried I should get operated. So it is never the size of the prostate that matters. It is the symptoms, what we have, what I discussed about, the lower urinary tract symptoms. How severe are they? We divide them into mild, moderate and severe symptoms. Mild symptoms are there even if the size is too big. The second test which you do, uroflow, shows a good flow, then he need not undergo any surgery. But if he has got a moderate symptoms where he is frequently going to pass urine, not in the night time he is getting 3 to 4 times, and it's bothersome for him to live with the symptoms, then we consider the other factors also, the size of the prostate, how much is the post-void residue after he empties the bladder, what is the amount of urine staying back in the bladder. Commonly, when on full bladder, suppose there is an amount of urine in the bladder, on full bladder is 300 ml. So 10% or less than that is normal. Like 30 ml or less than that is normal. If it is more than that, then it is significant. Same thing, we do urine flow test. If the flow is good, in spite of large prostate, if the flow is good and the symptoms are not there, he doesn't need any surgery. For moderate symptoms, most of the time we just put them on certain medications. Those are called alpha blockers like tamsulosin, silodosin. And then if the prostate size is little big, like more than 40 grams, we put them along with the tamsulosin and silodosin and additional medicine, that is dutasteride or finasteride. So moderate symptoms can be treated with medicines again. Severe symptoms, when the flow is too bad, it's not just symptoms we have to consider. We have to take into consideration the size of the prostate, the post-void residue, the uroflowmetry, and then the symptoms all together. They decide whether the patient needs a surgery or not. It's not just the patient says 140 grams, 130 grams prostate, so I have to undergo surgery. So it is not like that. So everything has to be considered together to decide about the surgery. Okay, surgery should be the last option. Medicines should be the first options. Now coming to the third most commonest thing, that is the PSA. Now if you are going for a health checkup and you do a PSA and if it is showing a rise, then there is a point in consulting immediately urologist and getting some further test done or MRI biopsy and all these things. But if you are coming with urinary infection and somebody does a PSA and that's showing a high PSA, so PSA rise doesn't mean that it is cancer. Commonest cause of rise in the PSA is infection. Infection in the urinary tract, the bladder, prostate, commonly prostate infection. So rise in the PSA doesn't mean cancer. Commonest cause of rise in the PSA is infection. So whenever a patient comes with acute urinary retention or urinary tract infection, we ideally don't do the PSA immediately. Once he recovers from that, we should do the PSA. But sometimes it happens, a physician or somebody else has seen and has advised for a PSA also, and the PSA shows a very high value, then also we should not be worried about the cancer at that time, because the commonest cause of rise in the PSA is infection. So PSA has to be repeated after 3 weeks, and then further plan has to be done. If after 3 weeks, if we give antibiotic, infection settles, after that also the PSA shows rise, then we should think of MRI, biopsy and all other parameters, all other tests. The other thing is, when a patient goes for a health checkup, he does a PSA. When he's actually healthy, fit, he doesn't have any urinary symptoms, and the PSA shows rise, then he should consult a urologist. Urologist will additionally do a digital rectal examination. On the digital rectal examination, he finds if there is a nodule or something, he would advise definitely a MRI and a biopsy. Now, when to do MRI, when to biopsy, these are all again clinical things. Ideally, we should do MRI first and then do the biopsy, because of the artifacts we get after the biopsy. So once that report comes, then depending upon the value of the PSA, depending upon the digital rectal examination finding, and depending upon the MRI findings, we stage the disease, whether it is localized prostate cancer or locally advanced prostate cancer or metastatic prostate cancer. Now, if we suspect it is locally advanced or metastatic, or we want to differentiate, that time after the MRI and the prostate biopsy, we also do a scan that is called PSMA scan, where we'll come to know whether the disease is only in the prostate, or it has gone beyond the prostate, or in the pelvic area, or it has gone beyond the pelvic area into the whole body. So these are different tests which are done. Now, about the treatment of prostate cancer, if you ask me, initially when the prostate cancer is localized, so what we do is, there are two options: surgically complete removal of the prostate, which ideally should be done by robotic method, because robot has got a lot of advantages over the open surgery and the laparoscopic surgery. Bleeding is less, recovery is faster, and it gives a very high advantage to surgeon to do operate in a deep pelvic space. Now, if there is an option of radiation also, so this will be decided by the urologist or the uro-oncologist, and the if required, a consultation with the radiation oncologist will be made. Like that, if this is all in localized prostate cancer. If it is locally advanced, then we treat that with hormonal therapy plus radiation therapy. And if it is metastatic, then we treat it as hormonal therapy. Hormonal therapy can be in either, again, two ways: medical hormonal therapy or a surgical hormonal therapy. Commonly it's medical hormonal therapy, where we give some anti-testosterone medications, hormonal medications, which will take care of the metastatic CA prostate. Now, coming back to the normal prostate, when it's not cancerous, when the patient comes with the urinary tract infection, as I said, or he's in acute urinary retention and somebody does a PSA and the PSA is showing rise, that time patient is frightened or has a big fear about the cancer. Now, that time you should not be worried, because as I said, it is because of the infection. You should wait and do a PSA after 3 weeks and then reconsider. If that PSA is high, then again do the same test what I said for the CA prostate and then go further. If the PSA comes normal, most of the time it comes normal, then there is a benign prostate only, and then we go for a prostate surgery. Now, most of the time we give a trial without catheter if a patient comes with a retention, because many of the times the retention is because of the precipitating factors like either an infection or constipation or some other reason which is causing the retention. So we give a trial of removal of the catheter. Most of the patients pass with some alpha blocker medicines which I said for the prostate. If after they start passing well, then we say you continue the medicines. After removing the catheter, if they are not passing well, or if they feel that the flow is not that good, then we do the uroflowmetry test and then again consider whether we should do a prostate surgery or not. In benign prostate, the surgical procedures what we do are different from the cancerous prostate. In cancer prostate, the surgery is done to completely remove the prostate. Here in benign prostates, we are not doing complete removal of the prostate here. Here the gold standard technique is transurethral resection of the prostate, which is done. And now the other methods which are also becoming gold standard are Holmium laser enucleation of the prostate. So laser prostate surgery, which is commonly done. And at Apollo also, we are doing all bipolar TRP, monopolar TRP, or Holmium laser enucleation of prostate. So I normally tell the patient that if you have an emergency or you are also coming for routine surgery, in fact, I would rather say, because we are going to live with this coronavirus for a longer time, it's going to stay with us. So even for elective surgery, emergency, definitely I should say that you should come and meet the consultant, irrespective of not only my department, any other department if it is there, because at Apollo, very safer practices are done. COVID and non-COVID pathways are completely different. The wards, the ICU, they're completely separate. So there is no mixing of the cases. So don't have that fear. So in this pandemic, just because there's a COVID fear, so don't hesitate to come and meet the consultants or the doctors, and unnecessary don't risk the complications. So I would say that you can safely come and visit us and get treated. Okay, thank you.